Hey guys, welcome back again to Dave's Dimension. Welcome back again for another video. I want to welcome you guys back to the Dimension, the channel where chaos and insanity will always reign supreme. So we're back again for another unboxing. What do we got this time? Well, we got DC Multiverse. Now this is a collection being made by, I believe, McFarlane Toys. If you don't know McFarlane Toys, you probably have heard of Todd McFarlane, the creator of Spawn. He's also written and drawn for Batman, Spider-Man. I mean, the list goes on. He's a legend in the comic book world. So I actually scored this at a GameStop. Now, it says clearance for $19.97, but you can pretty much get the same price at your local Walmart. So, roughly about the same price. I did get one little deal. They were doing one of those deals where you buy $5 for one of their bags, reusable bag. Right here, got a nice little Mario Nintendo themed bag. Very cool. I'm actually thinking of gifting this to one of my friends who's a big Mario collector. Also, on top of that, anything you decided to get via that bag, you got 25% off of. That's 25%, not 20% like they usually do, but 25. So I got 25 off of $19.99. And I also picked up some other figures as well. I picked up this guy, Arkham Batman, got him. He was like priced, I think, 22. So I got 25 off of that. I also picked up some Rangers. Well, not Rangers, but Ranger figures. We got Pumpkin Wrapper. He was, yeah, that's right, guys. You see that right there? He was priced at 22. And the same thing with King Sphinx from the Lightning Collection, both 22. Now, if you go to Target, these chunky monkeys are going to grab you about $29.99, and then I had 25% off on top of that. So I scored 4 figs for that price. So I did pretty well, at least in my eyes. I mean, $5, and I saved more than $5 in the long haul. And I finally got this bad boy. So win is a win. So, those are not familiar, this is the animated series Batman. Back in the 90s, right after, because the Michael Keaton, Tim Burton Batman movie was 1989. So after the insane success of that, they greenlit Batman the Animated Series. It was created and produced by Bruce Timm and a whole assortment of amazing talent, both as far as creating the animation, directing the show itself, the writers, and also the amazing voice talent. A Juilliard Shakespearean actor, I think, at least I believe I believe Kevin Conroy was a Shakespearean actor. I do know he went to Juilliard, so he was a classically trained actor, one of the best. And they hired him to voice Batman, and he just blew up from there. I mean, he's been the voice of Batman for like the past 30 or so years. I mean, there are other people who voice Batman, not to diminish them in any shape or form, but Kevin Conroy, he played, it was like he was two different people. Bruce Wayne sounded completely different from Batman, and he did it tremendously, and he's always been a favorite of mine since then. So, the animated series had brought so many different talents, voice talents. I mean, we had Armin, no, not Armin Sherman, but Renee, and I'm going to say his name tremendously wrong, and I apologize. Renee Adjabon. I never could pronounce his name, but he was known in the 80s for being on Benson. He's best known as Odo, Constable Odo from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. He was around anything fantasy, drama, just he filled every role. He actually did the voice of Scarecrow, Dr. or Professor Crane, if you will. He voiced Scarecrow. He also voiced a lot of other characters in there. He had Richard Mall from Night Court, the really tall guy who played Bull Shannon. on Night Court, he actually voiced a lot of characters. He voiced, I mean, there's just so many, but the one that he stands out on is Two-Face. Harvey Dent, before and after his accident, that created the alternate personalities. You had, oh God, I'm blanking on his name. His last name is Glover. I'm blanking on his name, and I apologize tremendously. Uh, the guy I'm thinking of, he played uh, Lionel Luthor on Smallville. I just can't think of his name right now. I know his last name is Glover, and I'm tremendously sorry to any fans who are shaking their heads at me. I just can't remember his name off the top of my head. I don't write a script for these videos. I really don't. My The fact of the matter is that he had a lot of amazing talent on there, including Mark Hamill, who voiced the Joker. And I want to say, I believe for a short time he might have voiced Robin, but I could be wrong. Don't shoot me if I'm wrong. But the fact of the matter is, it was a tremendous show. The writing, this was not your atypical kids show. There was a lot of very, I don't want to say adult themes, but it was a very mature cartoon for us. We had to deal with death because obviously Bruce's parents were dead. He was orphaned, so you know, they had that constant theme that that's what he was trying to do. He was trying to protect people, but people would get shot, people would get injured. You know, Joker was always trying to kill Batman, very much like Yosemite Sam was going after Bugs Bunny or Daffy Duck. You know, you had those themes. Of course, he never succeeded because Batman always solved, always found that little clue to find what he needed to do and how he needed to stop the bad guys. So this is a bit of 90s nostalgia that I had to jump on. Now, these are made by McFarlane Toys, as I said, Todd McFarlane, and there's a whole series of multiverse characters that you can get. You can get Nightwing. You can also get a version of Superman. You can get different versions of Batman. They even have Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad and Birds of Prey. So there's a lot of different versions of these that you can get, and some of them are even Build-A-Figures. So, but this is DC Universe. I know this is a little bit departure from what I usually do. Usually it's either Power Rangers, NECA, like the Back to the Future figs, or Ninja Turtles, or you see me doing a lot of Marvel Legends. Well, we're changing it up. Now, one very cool thing before I open this up is it shows you have 22 moving parts. That basically is like their way of saying, as far as articulation, movements, you have 22 different points of movements that you can set this up with. Okay? Now, I apologize to anyone who is not an out-of-box collector. I'm all about the out-of-box, as you guys can see. If you're not a fan of it, skip ahead maybe about half a minute to a minute, and we'll be through it, okay? So we're going to pull him right out of the packaging. I'm going to lay him down. We'll give it a little bit more detail in a second. Now, they do give you some alternate hands. Now, I previously did a video where the McFarlane Universe version of Batman, he did not have any additional accessories except two knives, or two short swords, I should say, for him to use. Now, in here, we get a very thick, cartoon accurate version of the Batarang as featured in the animated series. And we also get his grappling gun. Now, in the comic books, he had a traditional kind of gun that it was gas propelled, and it would shoot his little grappling hooks out. I don't know if this is true, but for the animated series, they didn't have that. They had this kind of hand mechanism, so he could kind of hold, it would kind of go around his fingers, and he had a trigger, which you see the red trigger button right there, very nicely done. And his hook, or his grappling point, would shoot out from there with the line. And of course, what was great is he almost had a Spider-Man type setup, where this would automatically, once this was launched in and he'd swing it from rooftop to rooftop, it could disconnect, and another blade, another hook, another point would magically appear, and he could keep on shooting, just like Spider-Man swinging from web to web to web to web. So that was a pretty cool thing that they did for the cartoon series. Now let's take a look at some of the hands here. We have one hand, which obviously is, I believe that's the one meant for the Batarang. Either hand really will work for that. I think that'll work for that, or even the. See if I can get the grappler, as I always called it. I have to play around with the hands a little bit. But the hands that come already on are closed fists, so we get Batman in his fighting pose. For much of the cartoon, he was kind of in a fighting pose. Now, one little thing I will say this: some of the blades on his gauntlets here, the one side was almost completely bent over, but it's a soft rubber. What I recommend is if you have the same kind of issue, taking a hot air, well, not a hot air gun, I should say, but a hair dryer, putting it on a low setting, run it a little bit to soften this up, and you'll be able to just mold, just kind of press that back into place, and you'll be good to go. But there we are, cartoon Batman. Let's get a nice little focus right there. There we go. Very cool. They got the utility belt. They got everything perfect. He has this long flowing cape. And I love that they have the blue back here. Because in the cartoon, depending on the moonlight or any kind of lights or anything shimmering off, it had kind of a bluish look to it, accenting the black. Some people even wondered, was it a blue outfit or was it black? But it just had to be how the light was reflecting on it, how they did the animation style. The animation style was tremendous. It gave Gotham kind of a 30s, 40s look, even though it was kind of contemporary with today. I mean, it was just amazing art, and I even hear that they're trying to bring back that cartoon. Continuation, not necessarily a reboot, but a continuation, kind of a pickup of it. HBO Max is looking at it, so I'm hoping it gets passed because it was one of my favorites. Now, the belt itself, this belt is got a little bit of movement here. Now, as far as the legs, I know the legs look kind of thin, but that's how he was in the cartoon. Now, of course, you get a little bit of movement. You get a lot of movement at the ankle here. Okay. Now, compared to the other Batman figure did, his ankle's not as loose. But we get some movement here on his front foot, the front part of his foot, the forefoot, I guess you could call it. Not as loose as the other one. So, with that being said, it's definitely a case of your miles will vary depending on your particular figure that you get. So it could be that that particular design of the figure tends to be a little loose in the foot part here, or it could just be, a slight defect. You always get one figure that's tremendously poseable, then another one maybe it doesn't hold the pose, it gives way after a while depending on the weight. Now there's a lot more weight on his upper body here. Feeling this, you definitely get more weight up here, but of course you have more torso, more size here. The head has a little bit of movement, nothing too much, nothing too crazy. Well, I mean, this is kind of crazy. But, I mean, for cartoon Batman, this is perfect. I mean, this looks tremendous. One thing I would have is not a negative on here, but what could have been cool if they could have gave us, one if we could take the cape off. I'm sure that is something that probably could be done if you really play around with it. But if we could take the head off and we had a Bruce Wayne head. Because there was a few times where he's in the cave and, he's got the cowl off, is his head, and he's talking to Alfred. That would be cool. It's not a deal breaker, but, I mean, that would be something cool. Now, some of the figures have weird joints as far as, like, right here. I mean, this is supposed to be like a ball joint, but he rotates. So, I mean, you can kind of do a Jean-Claude Van Damme with Batman if you wanted to. That'd be crazy. Have a couple Batmobiles, and he's just kind of flexing all the way across like that. It's a thing you guys can do. But like I said, he's pretty basic. Now, if you notice, you can actually see some of the gears as far as the joints right there. Is very much. You can kind of hear a little bit of crackling, a little bit of cranking as far as the joints there. Let me see if you guys can actually see that here. Kind of see some of the grooves right there. But that's neither here nor there. They kept it the same color, so it's not all that noticeable. The legs themselves, kind of on a weird kind of double hinge. Because you have the knee right here, which connects to the upper thigh and then the lower leg. So you kind of have to play around with it. I probably would take, again, hot, air dryer, hair dryer just on a low setting, just to kind of soften it up to kind of get it moving. That's what I would do. You don't want to force anything on these guys. So let's go into the rest of this now. Because there is one very cool thing that's included in these. Well, there's two cool things. We have a little DC branded stand. And then we have kind of a trading card. Now, the first one, I actually read the whole synopsis, so to speak. A little background on Bruce Wayne. And also a little background on Todd McFarlane. Be careful because the plastic is quite thick on here. If you're using a blade, please take all the caution possible. And once again, a little disclaimer: this video is not intended for kiddie audiences. This is all adults here, guys. So, see if we can. Here we go. Gives you Batman the Animated Series Animation 1992. Real name Bruce Wayne. Height 6'2". Weight 210 pounds. God, I wish. When two shots rang out, Bruce Wayne's life changed forever. He pledged himself to justice, and he has upheld that oath for years, wearing many names: the Dark Knight, the world's greatest detective, the Capes Crusader. He has battled tragic foes like the Joker, Penguin, Mr. Freeze, and so many more. But deep inside, he knows that he shares something with them that most of humanity wouldn't understand. A commitment to the fight. There we go. Very cool. This is roughly about, maybe, I don't know if this is exactly standard size baseball card, maybe a little bit smaller. But you can probably use those types of plastic sleeves that you can get at your local hobby shop or collectors or comic book emporiums and save these. Here's the one I have from the previous video. Different versions of Batman, because it's multiverse. Multiverse meaning same Earth, different dimension, different set of rules, different versions of Batman. There could be Batman from the Arkham Knight series. Oh wait, I have that one. A few others. Like, imagine a world where the Joker wasn't the Joker that we know. It wasn't the Mr. J that we know. There's actually a Flashpoint Earth. If you're not familiar with that, that has to do with the Flash. The Flash, long story short, the Flash went so fast he went back in time and actually saved his mother from being killed. And because she was never killed, he never tried to prove his father innocent, never became a Central City forensic analyst. And because he never did that, he never became the Flash, and the world never had a Flash. That same world also altered things for many other people, including Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne didn't lose his parents that fateful night. They lost him. Bruce Wayne got shot and died as a little boy. his mother was driven insane with guilt, and she became a female Joker. There was no Joker yet. So she became the Joker of that realm. And Bruce's father, Thomas Wayne, went from being a doctor to being a very much a playboy billionaire, so to speak, who ran casinos and all kinds of craziness. But that night, he became Batman, Flashpoint Batman, who actually carried guns. And he was very dark and very scary. So, Multiverse. Same Earth, different dimension. And yes, that was a tagline from a show called Sliders from the 90s, which dealt with the multiverse, so to speak. It actually dealt with a young man who traveled to parallel Earths, uh, trying to find, with him and his friends, trying to jump from Earth to Earth until they could find their home. They had a device that would count down when a new portal would open, and they would jump through it, hoping that the next Earth that they would land would be their home. So, there we go. Nice little stand. Let's see, how posable is he? Oh, let's find out. Can we get a kneeling pose? Okay, so yes, we can get a kneeling pose, and this actually is perfect if you have like a little diorama that's almost like a rooftop. So we're going to set him down, and you're going to see how well he can actually... There we go. Set the camera right there. I'm not doing any special prompting. He's right there. You know, and I love, because with the cape and everything, it works very well for him. Because the way they had the cape kind of molded, almost as if he's... Maybe pull you guys back up. Very much like he's on a rooftop, about to use his grappler to jump off that rooftop, going after some criminals. Very cool indeed. But like I said, you just saw him twist around because it's on kind of a ball joint, I believe. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comment section below. But with these videos, I'm asking anyone that watches these videos to please tell me who or what version of Batman is your favorite. Do you like Batman Beyond? Do you like, Batwing? Do you like Batman of another century? Or what's your favorite Batman story? Your favorite Batman movie or cartoon or even comic book storyline? What was your favorite? Was it The Killing Joke? Was it Dark Knight Returns? Frank Miller? Thank God. Personally, I always loved Batman Beyond, but that's just me. So, here we are. Very posable. Very, very cool. He's not going to be as posable as, let's say, Marvel Legends, but, he's very badass and very cartoon accurate. This is just tremendous here. Like I said, I love the blue on here. Everything is just tremendous on here. I'm going to play around with the open hands to see if I can get his grappler to fit in perfectly. I wish they had a version of the grappler where it actually kind of, like you saw some of it shooting out. There is another Batman that does have something similar to that, so I'm going to play around with that, see what we can get going with that. Play around with this hand. I might have to take the my own advice. No. I was gonna say I might have to use my own advice and use hot air, like a hair dryer. But we can kind of get this at an angle in his hands, so his hand just pops right off. There's a little ball joint right here, so that's what you're dealing with. Unlike with Marvel figures or even Power Rangers, you may have to get a little creative. The only thing is with this, try to see if I can... There we go. You gotta have to play with it a little bit, so it's gonna be sticking out a little bit because there's kind of a trigger figure, like almost like that. So there's a little bit of a gap, so that's what we would have to do if we want to do him posing down like he's gonna shoot upwards. There you go. I really like this figure, guys. This is tremendous. This brings back memories like you wouldn't believe. I mean, I love the animated series, and I rewatch it maybe once a year, especially with COVID going going on this past year. Uh, I mean, it's just it brings back so many memories. That's why I love my Ghostbusters. I love my Back to the Future, even the Power Rangers. I mean, yeah, I got quite a few Power Rangers. I know, it's crazy. You should even see the Marvel selection I got going on. It's growing. It's growing more and more. I'm sorry if I sound stuffy. Sinuses and allergies. And this battering is actually kind of curved. I don't know if that's on purpose, or maybe I'll take take a hair dryer and kind of see if I can bend it out. But might just keep it like that. We'll take the other hand out. The open hand, and there you go. Batarang in one hand, grappler in the other. And I love that they did the button on both sides, so it looks so you can flip it any way you want to. This just looks tremendous, guys. It looks tremendous. Uh, Now, my fig, it's a little loose in the thigh. The joint where it goes into the lower torso crotch area. And that could be just a defect on mine. Let me know if you guys have the same issue. I do have other stands I could use. I've got a bunch of these plastic stands that I can use for different figures. So I might try and see if I can use something like this on him. He might be a little bulky, but as you can see, I have Deadpool from Deadpool 2 going maximum effort in his pose. But I have a couple of these, so I might try using one of those for Batman. So we'll see. But now we got this McFarlane Universe Batman, and now we have animated series Batman. So, got Batman. Batman all over the place. So, getting my own little collection of Batman. I do have a Batarang. And also, let's do a little comparison, guys. Excuse the mess here. I got this about about a week and a half ago. This is also Batman from the animated series, but this is a sculpt. This is a statue of the Soul of Silicon episode, where there was a Batman who awoke in a warehouse, but he was actually a cyborg Batman made by Hardak, which was an artificial intelligence that was bent on replacing all of humanity with cybernetic versions of themselves. And Bruce, that is Batman, fought himself in the Batcave and fought this version. As you can see, I'm showing this as a comparison, so you can kind of see, like, okay, his gauntlet, his glove with the uh, blades that kind of come out, how the cowl looked face-wise, the emblem, how everything looks on him. So we're gonna, you guys have seen that. So now, let's give a nice little comparison to McFarlane Batman. So we're gonna hold them both up. Very close. There is a slight color difference. There's more of a darker orange on here, but either way, I mean, I like the color on here. I think it's pretty close to the cartoon. I mean, there we go. I mean, it's Batman no matter which way you look at it. I mean, there might be a little bit more inflection on the statue's face a little bit, but this is capturing a specific moment from the cartoon, obviously. And this we could do a lot with, so. So there we are. Batman Animated Series McFarlane figure by McFarlane Toys. DC Multiverse. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being Alfred ran out of milk, and a 10 being, look, it's Mr. J. Gotta give him a 9.5. I mean, The nostalgic factor is probably overloading my Snapsies right now. I mean, it brings back so many memories. It's not even funny, guys. I just love this figure. It's amazing, and I can't wait to unbox the other ones, which I have Arkham Batman to do. But that's going to be a different video, guys. And that's not all, folks. I also have Arkham Deathstroke. So I really can't wait to get into this one either. So we still have a lot more of those, and I'm looking into what other DC Multiverse figures you might want me to jump into. One of the figures I was looking into was possibly the Red Sun version of Superman. That's a multiverse where Superman did not crash land in Kansas. He actually crash landed in Russia. So that's a very interesting one. I'm thinking about getting him. I'm not too sure. Tell me what you guys think. Do you think I should grab him and do a review? Are there some other multiverse? I mean, should I get... there's Arkham Joker. There's a different version of Joker where he's wearing a Gotham PD kind of suit. There's a whole bunch of different ones. Honestly, tell me what you think below. Drop me some comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you think of this figure. Do you think it was a swing and a miss, or do you think it was a home run? Let me know on your scale of 1 to 10, what do you think he is? Is he a 9? Is he an 8? Is he a 5? Tell me what you think. Also, like I said, let me know what you guys want me to do next. Now, if you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down. If you think I could do better, or you have some criticisms or some praise, drop it in the comment section below. If you're subscribing to the channel, I want to thank you guys for coming out, checking out what I'm looking at here, what I'm unboxing, having a little bit of fun with us, having a good time, talking about a little bit of nostalgia. I'm also looking into the possibility of maybe doing a live stream in the future. Let me know if you think my content, my vibe, would be fun for a live stream or not. We're also going to be branching out into some prop modding for Ghostbusters. That's going to be something that maybe I'll do a live stream of it so you guys can see what I'm doing as I'm doing it. Now, I don't have a garage. I don't have a workshop. This is a spare bedroom I use in my apartment that me and my wife live in Grand Island. I mean, this, as you guys can see right here, I have extra monitors because this is my 9 to 5 job, Monday through Friday. I work for a company doing some tech support, but with everything going on in the world, I'm an asthmatic and diabetic, so I'm in the health risk range. So right now, for the past year, I've been working remotely from home. This beat up top you see here, this is an L-shaped desk. This is also where I do all my building and mods. I mean, if I were to show you guys, let me see. Oh, you see a bit of a mess there, but you can see there's some holes here on the desk. Those are drill holes from me modifying. Now, you see this proton pack I have here. I built that here. I bought I didn't make the parts, but I assembled them here. I bought the parts through a company called Bennett Kent's. They're well known in the Ghostbusters community. And I assembled the pack here in my apartment. This is my work desk, but it's also my workshop. You know, you know, not everyone can afford a nice big house or a basement or a garage. You know, I'm painting stuff on a patio and assembling stuff on a desk. It is what it is, guys. If you don't have the tools, you make them. That's something my dad always taught me, you know? If you don't have the tools, you make them. You rig it however you possibly can. I mean, this is a guy who would fix a hole in an exhaust pipe by using a couple hose clamps and a soup can, okay? That's where I learned a lot of my craziness from, guys. So, hoping you guys will tune in for our next video and keep it rolling, keep the party going. And as always, I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and I want to say keep on busting, and I'll catch you on the flip side.